Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, September 23rd, 2022 is now called to order. Welcome all of you all. Glad to have everyone here. And particularly want to welcome Esquire Mark Young, who's going to lead us in prayer this morning and lead us in the pledge immediately following.
Please bow with me. Lord, we thank you so much for this beautiful morning that we have awoken to. We thank you for this day of life. God, we thank you so much for the wonderful community that we live in. We are indeed blessed. God, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have this morning to conduct the business of Warren County. I pray that all the decisions that we make today, we will keep you in mind when we make these decisions, and the decisions that we make will benefit the citizens of Warren County. God, we thank you so much for your son, for the life he lived, the death that he died for us, and it's in his name we pray. Amen. Amen. We face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Here.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Young.
Here.
Esquire Payne.
Here. Okay. We need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of September 9th, 2022. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Additions or corrections? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
And we need to approve the personnel changes of Warren County. Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
And now, if there are no objections, I'd like to hear from Mr. Bobby Raybold, who's here as a board member of the L&N Depot Historic Rail Park and Museum. And you all have met Mr. Raybold in the past on a number of occasions. Last time about a month or so ago, after he put on a presentation in regard to the potential trolley car routes. And you may also remember that he actually drove a trolley car for us at no cost to the citizens about 3 or 4 years ago. He actually put the whole thing together and ran the trolley for us for several days. And everyone had a great time with it. It was a lot of fun. And I've got a picture somewhere, I don't have it with me today, of Bobby's grandfather with an old trolley car, back the first trolley car that Bowling Green had back in the, I don't know, early 1900s?
Yes.
Anyway, Mr. Raybold, we're proud to have you here again today.
Well, thank you so much, Judge. I appreciate your time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present a second time to the court. As you may recall, I was present here close to a month ago when I introduced the concept of the trolley. And, you know, this is a process that's actually taken 4 years to get where we are today. So this has not been something that happened overnight. So there's been an incredible amount of research and time invested in this project. And I cannot, you know, I'm just so excited to be here today, and we have several people that we're going to introduce you to as we go through the presentation. But as a recap of the meeting last month, you may recall, after making the initial presentation of the concept, I explained to you that we were working with a consultant, a transportation consultant, on a business plan. You'll also recall that I indicated that we were working on a budget and that I would be coming back at a later time to present both the budget and the business plan, and for the purpose of requesting funding for the trolley project. Since that time, we have completed the business plan, we've completed the budget. Unfortunately, the consultant could not be here today because he had dental surgery or a dental procedure this morning. He could not be here, but he will be available at a later date if anyone has any questions of him. So, not to take too much of the court's time, that's the real recap. We have the deliverables today, and at this point I'd like to introduce some of our key stakeholders. We have all of our, not all of our board members, but the board members of the Historic Rail Park and Train Museum are here. So if you could stand up, I would appreciate that very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Do you want to introduce just one by one, just give their names?
I'll let I'll let our director
Jamie.
do that. This is the director of the rail park.
This is Mitchell Harmon on our board, and then Neil Tucker, Larry Snyder, John Knight, Joe Lockwood, Dick Weber. That's all.
So I'm also going to introduce some of our key stakeholders for this project. And first of all, Brent, if you would stand up. This is Brent Borkman. Brent is the director of the Kentucky Museum. And Brent, do you have any words that you'd like to share?
No, I think we're just excited. As the judge was saying, we were part of taking your tour 3 or 4 years ago when you were working with another possibility when we were first floating this project. And I think that we're just excited, Jennifer Tukas and I, who's part of transportation, we're just excited to think about how this could maybe drive visitors to our campus, to visit the Kentucky Museum, the Martin Alumni Center, the student union, but also conversely, I think our students could really explore where they are living, outside of campus too. So I think you have a good idea. I think there's lots of possibilities for the trolley to be able to increase tourism, and I appreciate your work. So
Thank you very much, Brent. Next, I have Larry Bailey and General Cherry, who are representing Aviation Heritage Park. If you all would stand, please. And also, if you have any comments that you'd like to make, I appreciate it.
Both these fellows used to be on, I know y'all used to be real involved in the L&N Depot. General Cherry actually put together a lot of the grants, the DLG grants that we got to actually restore the old depot when we finally got it under the city-county ownership. But we appreciate all y'all's work, and we'd love to hear from you on this.
Well, back in the day, Judge, as you know, and I think most people do, when that building, that precious building to the community now, was really threatened for demolition. And through a lot of community action, we were able to purchase it and save it from that. And I remember walking through it back then when it was so terribly neglected and how nasty and just a disgrace it
Mr. Bailey?
I echo everything that General Terry said. I also went down as a child to the rail park, to the Element Depot. And as you may remember, Judge, our good friend David Broderick's grandfather was a conductor. And we lived over on Nutwood, and we could ride our bicycles as far as the other side of the bypass to Holland Pharmacy for a little hot dog and a cherry coke, but we weren't allowed to go any further. But once we got on the other side of the bypass, it was a short journey to the rail park, to the depot. And Mr. Broderick would let us on, we would ride to Nashville and back, and our parents never knew. We worried about Mr. Broderick throwing us off the train a couple of times. Great memories. Thanks to Dan and all the citizens that helped keep that building alive. I was fortunate to be a part of the Depot Development Authority when we were executing some of the grants that Dan was so successful for us. And now we've gone from trains to planes and sharing with Corvettes. We've got trains, planes, and automobiles. And from a tourism aspect, just to have a people mover in this city and county is hugely important. I mean, if you've ever tried to call a taxi, don't try. So when we have guests that we bring to Bowling Green and the county, and they stay in our hotel properties, they need a way to move. And so I've talked with Bobby over the past 4 years. Seems like I've been talking to him for 10 years about this, to get it all together. So I'm very excited to put this with all of us here, particularly tourism. Sherry Murphy's over here, and you may point her out. She didn't know that I was going to show up, but I work for Sherry. So I had to point her out. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Larry. We have Ro Lanson here from the, excuse me. Well, as you know, Ro represents Lost River Cave, and she'd like to say a few words as well.
Thank you for inviting me here today. It's a pleasure to be at the beginning of this great adventure. I will say that I have served on the Historic Rail Park Board at one time as the treasurer and worked with them to develop their first marketing plan when the museum first opened. And so I'm very pleased to be here today and look forward to this thread that will weave through the community. Lost River Cave brings, with just boat tour visitors alone, 70,000 people, 75,000 people a year into Bowling Green. And we are always working to get that money out into the community, always making referrals to other tourist attractions. And this trolley will be a big part of that to help people see Bowling Green as a place to spend the night, have meals, and it'll benefit the entire community through jobs and taxes. And so this is a really wonderful way to tie that thread from place to place and give tourists the opportunity to explore our city. I'm very excited to see this happening.
Thank you, Ro. I'd like to introduce Sherry Murphy. For those of you who don't know Sherry, Sherry is the director of the Convention Bureau, Bowling Green Convention Bureau. She has a few words to say.
Hi, I think I know everyone at this point, but first I apologize for running late this morning. We had some ARPA drama this morning, which I'm sure you all can appreciate. But in talking about the trolley and the impact of tourism in our area, I think you all know very well how much money comes into our community every year and helps our local businesses when dealing with tourism and our visitors. And I feel like the trolley would really help connect our visitors more into the community. We know we're pulling them off of I-65 to go to our attractions. Our number one attraction, of course, as far as attendance, is the Corvette Museum. And we feel like if we could connect some of our other attractions to the NCM, that we would just get more and more people actually coming into the community instead of hopping right back on the interstate. We have been able to track our visitors, and that's a trend that we're seeing that's kind of prevalent. So we feel like this is a great way to get them in more further into the community and to get them to experience Bowling Green at a more realistic level, at an experience level. We really feel like this is a great project for our community, and I'm just happy to be here this morning, and I'm happy to answer any questions after.
Thank you. Before I introduce Sharon Bronner at the Corvette Museum, I'd like to give you just literally a 1-minute overview of the trolley in a condensed format. It's going to start initially, and the key word here is initially. We're going to develop other routes in town, but for our first route and for the foreseeable future, the Corvette Museum will be the starting point for the trolley, where people will be able to buy tickets. We'll be pulling thousands of people off the interstate. The Corvette Museum and the racetrack have approximately 300,000 visitors per year. So we're going to be pulling on that resource to sell tickets to. And we're going to head from the Corvette Museum to the rail park to downtown Bowling Green, circle the downtown area, including Fountain Square Park. We have approval from Western Kentucky University to go up the hill and drive through the heart of the campus, and we'll be stopping at the Dero Downing Center, the Kentucky Museum, as you know, through Brent, and we'll also be stopping at the Martin's Alumni Center near the Hyatt Hotel. As we come up College Street, you'll see the historic homes. When we leave College Street and head over to State Street, we'll go down State Street past the historic homes. And by the way, it's a historic tour, so we'll be talking about all these incredible locations and sites in Bowling Green. We'll head back to downtown Bowling Green, drop off tours, pick up tours, and then head back out to the National Corvette Museum. So, and by the way, I have an overview of that, so if anyone is here from the media would like a copy of that, I can give you a copy of it. Now, with that said, the Corvette Museum is a key stakeholder, as all of the stakeholders are. And so, with that said, I'd appreciate it if Sharon Bronner would address the court.
How are you, Sharon?
I'm very good, sir. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. It's nice to meet some of you for the first time today, and others that I've come to know over this last year since coming back to Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I'm pleased to be here to represent the National Corvette Museum, and certainly a stakeholder, as we have been referred to here, in tourism. This is an exciting project, one that when Bobby and I first started talking about it, I was on board immediately. Coming from other cities and communities where I have spent my career in tourism, this is a much needed asset for our community. Very much so, for all the reasons that you've heard already, to connect our city so that tourists can get about and really learn more about Bowling Green and Warren County, beyond all of the obvious choices, right? But one thing I want to touch on that hasn't been touched on today that I think is very important is also the private event rental component that can come from having this asset. Coming from Nashville at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum for 20 years, this is a huge part of where we will really be able to grow other aspects of having this asset available to all of us. I know from our private event rentals at the Corvette Museum, this will be something that we can really provide upsells, if you will, to other constituents that are coming here. The convention side of the business has not really been talked about here either. So when you look at large groups coming into our hotel community and they would like to move groups around the city, we really don't have an easy access to that type of group movement. So this will really allow us to begin to get into that part of the business, which for those of us who manage attractions and have private event spaces, we know that this is where the real profiteer can come from. So with that having been said, we're thrilled to know that they're going to have an asset such as this, not only on the tourism side, but also on the convention and group private business side. This is a win-win, and we're excited to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, we're getting to the end. I also would like to introduce you to Jamie Johnson, who is the director of the Historic Rail Park and Train Museum. As you know, the trolley will be owned and operated by Historic Rail Park and Train Museum. And Jamie would like to say a couple of comments.
Good morning, everyone.
I will be brief, I have notes. So, well, I don't need to express how important the rail park is to the community. I think it shows here today. This is just a fraction of people that absolutely love the place, and I'm fortunate that I get to work there every day. So, as you've heard, the Historic Rural Park and Museum, we want to step up and operate and manage the trolley system. We're excited to do that, and we feel confident that we can do that. As you've seen, we have the full support of our board, and we would be hiring some additional staff to help operate the trolley. We would also absorb some of those responsibilities within the staff that we have, and myself, of course. And you know, this project would truly be transformational for the rail park, but not just us, what you've heard from everyone today, connecting everyone. I mean, just with rough numbers that we've looked at, you know, we expect our tours to increase as much as 30%. So we're going to see some significant increase there. And then also, I just want to say that, you know, the rail park is ready to go to work and put this trolley to work for Warren County. So I hope that, that you all be in favor of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Before we complete our presentation, I would like to clarify something, if I may, Judge.
Sure.
2 years or 4 years ago, during the Christmas Lights program, Ron Murphy from the DRA actually invested over $2,000 in that trolley. It wasn't me personally. And for that very reason, I wanted to invite him here today to thank him, because he was an early excited person like me as we started talking about this years ago. And respectfully, I wanted to invite Ron today as well.
Well, Ron, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate your hard work to benefit the downtown area.
Thank you, Judge, and thank management. As far as in my lifetime and where I've been and what I've done, this is government at its best.
Thank you.
I don't know how I can say anything more. And basically, it has been government at its best. So, on my personal side, as a citizen, and as executive director of DRA, I appreciate the support and the gains that it has made to truly make Bowling Green number 3 in Kentucky. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
I appreciate you.
So, Judge, the magistrates have reviewed the budget. They've reviewed the business plan. At this point, I would respectfully like to ask if there are any questions, and if not, to please consider funding the trolley.
Gentlemen, any questions at all? I know y'all have had a little bit of time to think about this, but if you have any questions, if you don't have any questions right now, and there are no objections, I'd like to move item number 33. I'd like to move item number 33 up. And this is to approve the allocation and amendment and addendum agreement of ARPA funds grant to Friends of L&N Depot for an additional $487,736 to purchase the trolley and for first-year operations for educational and recreation tourism experience for Warren County. And when I say this is additional allocation to be added to the amended agreement, if you recall, a month or so ago, we had a $100,000 grant for the rail car restorations for their operations down there. This is going to the trolley system only here. So, but the overall grant now with this amended agreement would be for the $587,736. We're just made an addendum and an amendment to the original one. So don't get that mixed up. It's $487,736 for the trolley system. And, I wanted to correct one other thing that Mr. Raybold said, is that they're going to do a lot of talking about the historical features along the path and everything. They're not going to be doing the talking. The bus driver's not going to be doing it. This particular trolley is equipped with a GPS system that kicks in as you pass or as you come close to these particular areas, and it's a pre-recorded message that will talk about what's going on as you go. We'll probably have somebody like Larry Bailey do someone with that old radio voice to do this, but it would be, I'm really excited about the potential for this trolley. Anyway, do we have any questions?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Squire Lawrence, a second by Squire Payne.
I have some questions.
Yes, sir.
I see a lot of people here in support of this and a lot of excitement, and I applaud you for what you are. However, me being an elected official representing citizens of Warren County, I personally have a hard time spending $500,000 of county money, although it's ARPA, and I understand the difference between the two, for this, and I'm not convinced, I'm personally not convinced of this is the right thing to do. What concerns I would have and questions I would have is, there are two ways. Is it doesn't work at all? What has happened to us? If it works really well, what happens? And additional trolley, additional cost, and who's gonna, how's that gonna flesh out and how's that gonna play out? So, I mean, I'm looking at both sides of it, and I would hope that if this thing passes and it goes forward, those are two concerns. If it completely flops and doesn't do well, or if it does so well that it becomes, what's the next step? How do you plan on getting a second trolley, a third trolley, and how's that all funded and how that happens?
Well, those are great concerns, Ron. They really are, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate that very much. The truth is, in our budget projections, we have been incredibly conservative, beyond conservative. And we haven't even really factored in the rental aspects of the trolley, which quite frankly they're going to be huge. There are so many weddings that take place on the weekends. There are birthday celebrations, graduation celebrations. We have corporate events, corporate meetings, conventions, individual tours that we will put together with our stakeholders. We're not even factoring this into our income projections. And from the second year on, we're going to be in the black. So we've been working with our consultant closely, who has worked with us. He is a seasoned individual who's actually implemented trolley programs in the past in other cities in Texas. And he assures us that we're going to be very successful. So I appreciate everything that you're saying. I think that's a prudent approach to ask those questions. I thank you for that. But this is going to be a home run. And at the end of the day, let's face it, the whole goal here for the county and the city is that we're going to increase jobs through this tourism initiative. That's going to increase, we're going to increase tourist visits, restaurant sales, gasoline sales. We're going to increase museum ticket sales. Hotels, the tax from hotels is going to go up because people are not going to be driving down Interstate 65 and just drive by Bowling Green any longer. Or many of them will stop and take the historic trolley ride. Nashville, Birmingham, Bowling Green. We're it. We're one of those three communities on 65, including Indianapolis, not Louisville, that has this type of concept. And not only that, in our projections, we're only showing a cost of $20 per person to ride the trolley. In Nashville, Tennessee, it's $43. In Birmingham, Alabama, it is $50. So our projections on what we can actually charge for tickets is extremely low, and we haven't even factored in what the rental income is going to be, which is going to be far more than the ticketing income. So we feel that we have a plan here that's going to work. Once again, I thank you for your prudent approach and your questions, and now I respectfully ask that...
Go ahead.
Ron, I understand your position, and it's well valid. Through my years of economic development and the parts that I've played in Kentucky and in Bowling Green, Warren County, every bone in my body tells me that this is a project that's going to bring Bowling Green all together. It's going to touch every life. It's going to touch the Chamber of Commerce, the recruiting, every this money is needed, it will be available. It will be put in escrow. But this is how much we believe that this is going to be something great. Bowling Green.
Thank you so much. That's that comes as quite a Christmas present.
I may have to go to the county line.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Bobby, I have one question. How will you market?
Oh,
The trolley.
we're going to be working with Sherry, as well as we're going to have marketing people at the museum. And of course, electronic communication is really what it's all about today. So we'll be targeting different groups. So maybe a person that would be better to answer that question would be Jamie.
Can you all hear me okay? So initially, concerning marketing, we will be hiring an additional staff member that will be dedicated to marketing the trolley, but we will also be working with all of the folks that work in marketing in tourism, someone from the Corvette Museum, Lost River Cave, Beach Bend, all of the stakeholders in the community that want to be involved. We're going to bring them in to have input from everybody, where we need to be marketing, how we need to be marketing. If you notice on the budget in year one, we've got a lot of money front-loaded into marketing because that's where we really have to make a splash. People have to know it's here. They have to, when they're searching Bowling Green, I want the trolley to pop up. If it pops up before the train museum, that's okay for me for the first couple of years. But we're going to do everything within our power and make sure that we're using resources to get it marketed well.
Thank you, Jamie. Respectfully, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add to kind of finishing off the answer to Esquire Cummings' question. What happens if it doesn't make it? If it doesn't make it, this is a grant, ARPA grant, that goes to the Ellen Depot. They, at any point, could decide that this isn't going to work. They would sell it. The money would stay with the Ellen Depot. This is a one-way thing. We don't get the money back because it's not our money to be given in the first place. It's an award from ARPA funds. Now, the second part of your question was what happens if it's wildly successful. In my conversations earlier, I asked similar questions. And truthfully, if it's even as successful as their budgetary business plan, they should be self-sustaining the second year on. And then the third, fourth, fifth year, they can buy a second, third, fourth trolley if necessary. And I think the goal and what's been told to me is they would like to see it grow. And the tourist community, the hotels and restaurants, they'd like to see it grow. They'd like to see additional routes all throughout the community. And I don't know if that maybe answers the heart of your question. If it doesn't make it, the money goes one way. And they can sell it and get part of that money back and use it for the train depot. Now, no one anticipates that and no one expects that. But if it is successful, which I truly believe it will be, you should see a second, third, and fourth trolley in your next term of office.
But not necessarily come back to us for additional funding. That's my question is,
Right.
we're doing this, if that's what happened, then what happens if it is successful?
Well, the DRA sounds like they're going to go to the next line of funding if it's necessary.
Another $50,000. But again, and then I'll close mine up, because I'm definitely going to be a negative Nelly, but I'm concerned that the city's not involved. The city of Bowling Green, who benefits greatly from this, they're not here at the table at all, and that bothers me. In general, that they're not here, kind of like we did for the Operation Pride Beauty 565, which is a great program. That thing has morphed into a lot bigger than what we were originally told it was, and as far as cost and the operational things of it. So again, those are my concerns, and I'm just trying to be prudent for the citizens.
Let me answer those direct too as well. In regard to the Beauty 565, 1/3 of all those costs are coming from the city of Bowling Green.
Right.
1/3 of all those costs are coming from the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we're paying 1/3, Convention and Visitors Bureau is paying 1/3, and the city of Bowling Green is paying 1/3. Now, your direct question is why the city's not involved in this right now. The city received approximately 2/3 of the funding that we received in ARPA funds. And the funds that we've allocated thus far are pretty much getting close to what we allocated, what we received. But we put 10 million into broadband, we put roughly 5, maybe not quite 5, close to 5, in water and sewer expansion, and we put a lot into tourism. And those are specific things that are named in the ARPA language from the United States Treasury. Those are part of the guidelines and what we've invested. The city got about $10 million less than we did. They actually allocate, I think, to the best of my knowledge, and I haven't looked at their budget, but I believe they've put $11 million that they're putting into broadband fiber expansion in the city limits. And then they put money toward other things, and they're putting it toward some things that we're not investing in as well. But the bottom line is they didn't feel like they had the funds left in ARPA to put toward this. If you want to verify that, call Jeff across the street.
Thank you for all the answers.
All right, that's okay.
Thank you.
No, they're
Thank
good
you.
questions.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry I hadn't already answered them before today.
Approximately how much ARPA funds will we have left, approximately, to spend on other
We got about 3 million left.
3 million? Okay.
And we put, as you know, 3 tranches of premium pay and a 4th tranche toward volunteer firefighters. So we've kind of followed the guidelines that have been set out by the Treasury, United States Treasury, and trying to do it exactly right. As a matter of fact, we have this amendment to this particular, already approved by Stites and Harbison and Compass Financial. As you all already know, every expenditure that we make, we have our financial advisors and Stites and Harbison out of Lexington that qualify this and approve these to be
Expended.
right. And so this one has already gotten the information back from them, and it's ready to go, ready to fund.
Judge, I think right now it's just great to have the opportunity to use ARPA funds. It wouldn't be there, earlier or later, and it's not going to come out of our general fund at all. So
That's right.
I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. I don't know how you're going to get an easier, better start up than this.
No, this and 2 or 3 other things we wouldn't have gotten done had it not been for the ARPA funds, like broadband. $10 million was a pretty big hit, but
Judge, I want to congratulate you on continually creatively thinking of how to make the county better, which includes the entire county and the city as well, and not ever worrying about who's getting credit, but just doing what's in the best interest of the entire county. This project, and also creatively funding it through that ARPA funds to be able to do that, to tie all of our valuable tourism assets together, and for those to increase. I think sometimes we don't realize the behemoth that is our tourism in this county. It is when we go out to eat at the restaurants that we want to eat at, and we see the hotels, and we see the roads, everything else, and we don't realize sometimes the growth that we have in our community. A lot of that comes from this tourism, and thank God we're on I-65. It does help a little bit with a lot of other things as well. But I want to congratulate you for if this passes, coming up with a creative way to do this to help all of our partners. And also, for the media, the only thing I can say is I used to remember seeing the old hobos on trains, and Mr. Bailey evidently was one when he was a child. So.
No, this is one thing, I know Sherry mentioned what a valuable industry, tourism industry is. She didn't give specific details, but we're the fastest growing area of Kentucky in regard to tourism. Tourism is a huge, huge business. Any industry, well, there's no other industry in this area that's as big as tourism in this area collectively. Having most of our tourism stakeholders here today is great. I'd say between Mammoth Cave National Park and the Corvette Museum, we bring in a ton of people into this community, and they spend money. There's no environmental concerns to it. You don't have smokestacks or anything like that. But for any other industry that was interested in coming into this community, as we talk to them at the chamber and we look at the potential incentives to help them locate here, this amount, which is a significant amount, but it's coming from the ARPA funds. It's a significant amount, but if you compare it to what we would do for incentives for an industry coming into town that would produce this kind of revenue within our community, it's nothing. It's a very small amount. We give very little to this industry. It's the cleanest industry there is, and it creates good, clean business for every community, every citizen and every business in this area. So I'm very proud to be supportive of it and do it without reservation. Any other questions?
Judge, I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
There wasn't, I was the only one on this court when the Corvette Museum was approved. I had to have bodyguards for like 2 years. Sometimes you have to look into the future, and we had a different judge then than we got now too. I've watched Bowling Green grow, and I'm very proud to be a part of what we've done in fiscal court. This is my last year, I'm done, but I'm so proud of the people that have stepped up, not on court, but outside of court, that's brought this all to fruition. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Squire Payne. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Judge, one comment.
Yes, sir.
I've been a member of the Corvette Museum since its inception. Back, I was telling some earlier, when that first came about, was talked about, we had the opportunity at General Motors as an employee to contribute out of our check every week toward that museum. I did that proudly, for the same reason Tony's talking about, looking down the road. And I think that's what we're doing here. We're looking down the road. And we've always got to keep looking down the road to make this a place like it is, like it's become, a place where people want to come, work, live, or just stop and see. So I think this is, again, going to be a great asset to our
There's a lot of
community.
counties out there that are not doing anything. I mean, there's a lot of counties that don't want a trolley. There's a lot of counties that don't want a sky pack.
And they're
God
dying.
bless them, but I'm pretty proud of what we got going on.
We look at this, when I say this, government, we look at this like we do in church work. You're either going forward where you're going backwards. You don't sit still, nobody does. You get left behind. So you're falling behind. And this is the same thing. We do things here to promote our county, and this is a great promotional opportunity.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the great things I like about this trolley system, connecting the individual collective tourist attractions. Each venue markets for themselves. CVB markets for all of them. The trolley will market for all of them. When you connect Corvette Museum to the L&N Depot, or to the Aviation Heritage Park, or to Western Kentucky University, Lost River, you are connecting a portion of their patrons, their visitors, to the next one. Right now, I guess the National Corvette Museum brings in $300,000 a year. I think L&N Depot is somewhere less, about 5% of that, right? So if 10% of the National Corvette Museum hop on that trolley and go to the L&N Depot, the L&N Depot just tripled their visitors just by the virtue of that trolley connecting them. So this is a big thing, a big opportunity for it. Yes, Sharon, I'm so proud to see you. Would you come forward to the microphone? We stole your microphone earlier.
Yeah, I'm over here just bursting to say some things. First of all, thank you, and if I owe you any money for those security guards. You do. My job is here because you took that chance, so thank you for that, and thank you for your lifetime membership. You know, recently you may have read, or I hope you did, that we invested $2.5 million in the motorsports park. To your exact point, sir, we're looking to the future. We were handed a pretty bad day, right? As well as a lot of other folks who took a lot more devastation than we did. But we decided to take the lemons and turn them into lemonade and really invest in the future, not just to put the motorsports park back to what it was, which was fine, it was good, but it could be great. And we saw that, and we knew there was an opportunity that if we could add even better meeting space and event venue space, and not just the track itself, but even more reason, we were looking to that future. This trolley is just the tip of an iceberg. I fully believe that it should be very easily self-sustained very quickly. We want to continue to invest in it. It's why when I was asked would we be the anchor, it was an easy yes. Of course we would want to do that. Will it help our attendance? I certainly hope so. We know that it can provide more for the entire county. So I wanted to just jump into what you were saying about what we've recently invested of our own accord. And I also wanted to thank this court for the opportunity to have grant money given to us to help clear some trees and work on that Beautify I-65 project. Because now you can see the track, and more people hopefully will go, what is that? And want to take advantage of it, hop off that interstate, and come on over, and then hop on that trolley. So thank you for the additional opportunity to add those things.
Thank you, Sharon.
Judge, I'd like to say something.
Yes, sir. Squire Payne.
Tuesday, I was in Louisville, and when I got to Glendale, Kentucky, it looked like they were building an international airport from the interstate. And it's the battery company
Ford.
that we have coming here. What we have coming here is much bigger than what they got in Glendale. They're redoing the whole town. I mean, it's amazing to look at the plot of dirt that they are moving there. I had no idea what it was. It is huge.
It is.
And it's just a drop in the bucket to what's coming here. That's already here. It is huge.
Yes, sir. Clearly that increases our tax base, as will the trolley increase our tax base, and it'll be sustaining, Judge.
Any other questions?
Judge, that's more than I've said in 28 years.
I know. Okay, if there are no other questions, please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Unfortunately, my answer is no.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Although I hope you all are very successful.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And Judge, if I may address the court
Yes, sir.
quickly. I cannot thank you enough for your leadership. You know, I've known you all my life, and I've watched you grow over the years. And your leadership of this community, decades of leadership, is unmatched. Our growth in this community is tied directly to your leadership. I am just, as your friend, so proud of you and honored to know you. And I'd also like to say that during this process, I've gotten to know Doug Gorman because I've worked closely with Doug, and Doug and I have known each other for a while, but we've never been close in the sense where we get together. And I've gotten to know Doug, and I have an incredible respect for him, his energy, his vision, and I think he's going to be an incredible follow-up to you, sir. But it's going to be difficult to step into your shoes, and I want to thank you personally.
Thanks, Bobby.
It will not be named the Bucket Trolley.
Thank all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby. Do you want to have, Ms. Johnson, if you would sign the, I think there's 2 places, maybe 3 for her to sign. Thanks, Larry.
Like, Judge, since it's open forum day, it seems like. One last thing.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank this court for entrusting and having confidence in me as your representative on the CVB board. It seems like it's only been yesterday, but I've watched all of the activity, and our job and our mission at the CVB, as you know, is to put heads in beds. When they first told me that, you told me that, I thought, what does that mean? I've done that before, but our hotel properties have grown enormously since I came on that board.
Yeah.
And it is not something that just happens that we fill those rooms. We work hard at that. Sherry Murphy, our new director, we go back to Vicki Fitch. It is a large budget, and if you want to come out sometime and see a staff that really works hard to make this happen, and one of the missing pieces we've had has been a people mover, a transport mechanism that I mentioned a moment ago. This has so many possibilities. I thank you all for your confidence in this project, and we're going to prove this right. And the last thing is, I will commit to you that I will do all the voiceover in kind, and that'll save you about $460,000. So we're almost awash starting out.
All right, great.
See you all. Thank you all.
Thanks, Larry. Got it. Greg, do you have to check? You have to check for this. All righty. Okay, while we're down in this area, if there are no objections, we'll hold it. First of all, we have a guest with us today that I think Mr. Comer would like to introduce, and we'll go to whatever he has on this agenda that we've made you wait so long for, Chris. Mr. McIntyre, thank you.
Judge in court, we'd just like to introduce Mr. Chris McIntyre. Chris is a CFO of the Warren County Public Schools. Chris is also an advisory council member with our department. And I believe Chris would like to say some words in regards to our longest standing partnership that we've had since 1981 with the Warren County Public Schools. Chris?
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you all?
Great,
Well,
great.
I apologize. I was not able to attend the last meeting, and it truly humbles me to be in a community where it truly takes a village to support all of us, right? And as we continue to grow by leaps and bounds, the collaboration and teamwork we have amongst our community and our county, city, and public schools. And the latest is the partnership with Parks and Recreation at Warren Central High School to offer some additional opportunities for students and kids on the west side of town. We're also going to try to expand those opportunities at Henry Moss Middle School and developing some land back there that can be utilized for sports for Warren County Parks and our schools. So we couldn't do it without your all support and without the dedication of Mr. Coomer and his staff. They're tremendous. And I just want to come and thank you all personally that we appreciate it, our students appreciate it, and it's one of the reasons it's the best place to live and raise a family, right, and work. So thank you all so much for allowing me to speak.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Chris, I tell you how much we appreciate you all. Of course, Chris Cummer has been wanting to invest in the west side for some time. But he jumped on the opportunity when you started talking about out by Jennings Creek as well.
Yes.
Because of that, but also because he appreciates your all's partnership on everything else we do. So much of what we offer in recreational programming for kids, we couldn't do it without the partnership with you guys. We appreciate you a lot.
Thank you. We look for a long road ahead of us and a lot of opportunities for our students, community. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Judge Buchanan, you may want to recognize Chris because he was appointed to the State Board of Accountancy.
Oh, I did not realize that, and I apologize for not saying anything to you about congratulations for being appointed to the State Board of Accountancy. And, most of us are accountable, but not that way. But,
It's a real exciting group.
yeah. Your parties are like a lunch meeting? Well, anyway, congratulations. We're proud of you. Thank you. Okay. Now, item number 33, I think probably took a little bit longer than these other items, but right down there in the same area are two other ARPA grant funding allocations that I thought we'd just get there while we're here. One is to approve a water line extension on Day Road in the amount of $190,000 in Warren County Water District, and it's to be paid through ARPA allocation funding. What needs to be added to this, for the record, is that we have not gotten the paperwork on this from Stites and Harbison yet, so this is contingent upon their paperwork coming through, and they expect it too, but we need to make sure that that you all understand this, and it's in the minutes, that this is contingent upon the approval from Compass and Stites and Harbison.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 34 is to approve ARPA grant funding of $50,000 to Riverview at Hobson Grove to help offset losses during the COVID pandemic. And this, again, is contingent upon receiving the authority from, through Stites and Harbison and Compass.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
No, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, now, get back on track to item number 7 is to approve the ingress and egress easement between Kentucky Outdoor Advertising, Inc., Grantor, and Operation Pride, Inc., and Warren County grantees granting an easement for landscaping the Northern Gateway improvements, which abuts Interstate 65, and where it says easement for landscaping improvements at the Northern Gateway improvements, this is also for maintenance, ongoing maintenance of the landscaping improvements.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 8 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2256, rezoning property located at 7208 and 7240 Russell Road from planned unit development, general business, and residential estate to residential estate containing approximately 1.7 plus or minus acres and presently owned by Gemstone Property Developments, LLC.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 9 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2257, rezoning property located at 0 and 278 Lake Road from residential estate to agriculture and from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately .56 plus or minus acres and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 10 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2258, rezoning property located at 3299 Hayes Smith Grove Road from agriculture to residential estate and is being initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 11 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2259, rezoning property located at 1067 Richardsville Road from agriculture and residential estate to residential estate containing approximately .807 plus or minus acres and presently initiated by the City County Planning Commission in order to correct the split zoning of the property.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 12 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2260, the budget amendment for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 13 is to approve the 211 report for August 2022.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 14 is to approve a determination in the amount of $18,721.47 to Legacy OPE under Kentucky price contract pricing for a 72-inch Ferris mower for the I-65 beautification division, Parks. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 15 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $2,403.92 to Garage Doors Plus for repair of the gates at Soke Marketplace.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions?
Hey, James, what happened? Did somebody run into him, or what wasn't he repaired?
It's a little low. Wire tear on the gates and somebody broke down one of them completely down. So they had to rebuild the arms on one and put a whole bunch of boards in here.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Do we know who broke it down initially? Do we know who broke it down?
No,
No.
and we didn't have cameras at that time, so we don't have any idea.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 16 is to approve the refund authorization for the 2022 tax year for the Warren County Sheriff's Office. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 17 is to approve the termination in the amount of $2,921.36 to Cornerstone Information Systems for renewal of the software maintenance subscription and hardware warranty for the Warren County Treasurer's Office. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 18 is to approve the termination in the amount of $1,040.65 to Executive Elevator for repair of the number 3 elevator at the parking garage. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, questions?
You want to let us in what happened there, or?
Yeah, this is actually kind of funny at the end of the day, but
Huh.
they ended up changing a bunch of parts on it before they figured out what it was. Unfortunately, it was a magic marker jammed in the track. But by that point, we'd already spent the money on other parts. So unfortunately, that's what it is. So they fixed it since then.
Any other questions? Let's call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
Lawrence.
ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 19 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2268, rezoning property located at 448 Cleveland Drive from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 5.0608 plus or minus acres, and presently owned by Joey Sands and Anthony Shyrock. No, Shyrock.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman.
I'll second it with the pronunciation as well.
Yeah, all right. Maybe you could correct me on that. You want to try?
No, no,
Okay,
thank you.
all
No, thank you, Judge. Keep going.
All righty. Any other questions, discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 20 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2269, rezoning property located at 1050 Brookwood Drive, a portion of, from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 83.63 plus or minus acres and presently owned by Don and Kathy Properties LLC. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Mention something real quick on that last one.
All right.
Not already, we may have sent that to Brenda wrong, so, but it's goes from agriculture to PUD.
To what?
Same proposal, no change to the proposal, just the zoning is going to PUD instead of
Oh,
RE.
it's PUD instead of residential estate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's pretty important.
Yes. Thought we might want to correct that for the record.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
Let the record show that this was corrected appropriately from agriculture to PUD and presently owned by Don and Kathy Properties, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, who made the motion and second on that? Ron?
I'm McWhorter
And
and Payne.
and Squire Gorman? Okay, that's satisfactory with you all? Everybody understands it? Okay. All right. Item number 21 is to approve termination in the amount of 22, oh, you already, okay, you hadn't called.
We didn't approve.
Okay, well, since we haven't called the roll, then that's even better. Go
Esquire
ahead.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 21 now is to approve the termination in the amount of $2,205 to Save Our Kids Coalition for a speaker on marijuana and THC in 2022 and what parents need to know. And this is paid for by the ASAP grant. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Young. Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 22 is to approve the termination, let me see here, that's right, in the amount of $5,565 to Sunbelt Construction for widening a door at White Park, room number 3, and where the food is stored for Feeding America. And the current space is not wide enough to bring the pallets in, and the new 4x8 roll-up door will allow food pallets to go through without a problem. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions?
I will say and want to recognize Chris and that staff. This is a tremendous program that helps a lot of people who are food insecurity. So I just want to say thank you for what you do and continue the program, because there are a lot of people who be hungry without this program. So I want to really say thank you to all involved in it.
It is amazing. Chris, I know you don't, this is an unfair question to hit you with, but do you have any earthly idea collectively how many boxes of groceries we've passed out in the park system over the last 2 years?
So on average, we average over 500 plus participants in the program, and we've been doing the program consistently once a month during the height of the pandemic. We did the program for 6 months, 2 times a month distributions at Ephraim and Buchanan. So it's 500 times basically 12 months times basically 24 months. And then there was a period of 6 months where we were doing 2 distributions where we averaged over 600 plus. So we're well above the 8,000, 9,000 plus mark of food distribution within Warren County.
That's incredible.
And the number is staying consistent, and it's getting higher as we progress into the winter months. We're also keeping food on hand for other regional Feed America partners through the contract we have with them. If other Feed America partners within Warren County, within the region, have a need, then Feed America through the contract has enabled us and has provided free for the county the freezers, the refrigerators that we're using to store the food.
That's incredible. Yeah, I'll tell you, all you guys have done a remarkable job out there, and I know the magistrates chip in quite often too, but it's been tremendous for the community through these last couple of years.
It is very humbling to go out there and help with that program. Thank you for what you do.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments?
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Item number 23 is to approve emergency determination in the executive elevator in the amount of $5,225 for repair to elevator number 7 at the Warren County Justice System.
Motion.
Motion, Esquire Cummings,
Second.
second, Esquire McWhorter. Do you have comments on that, James?
I don't have any questions.
Is this elevator week or something? No, this is the third one.
I knew you was gonna come up with that, but all right, the elevators are 22-year-old. They're actually telling me they're now obsolete. Anyway, that said, they have 2 electronic boards in them, one front door, back door. And they don't know which board it is. So, unfortunately, they've ordered 2 boards, and that's what we have to do to change it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one of these boards up and have it for a spare down the road. But that's $5,500 later. So that's where we are.
But these 2 boards are not the same boards.
They're the same board.
Oh, okay, I thought you said
And
they
they want
didn't
to
know.
replace both of them, and I'm not gonna let them. We're gonna put it on the door that's acting up and see what it does.
And use the other one when
Correct.
the need is there.
Correct.
Gotcha, okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Item number 24 is to approve emergency determination to Palmer Trucks in the amount of $4,124.52 for dump truck number 7 at the road department. The EGR emissions control system had to be flushed due to an intake restriction.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire
Yes, ma'am.
Lawrence. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 25 is to approve Warren County jailer to negotiate with Sakaris Technologies, who is one of 2 responsive bidders in the recent request for proposals for inmate communication system for the Warren County Regional Jail.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, question.
I just hope he's able to negotiate as well as he has in the past, because I will applaud him at this point. And I know we don't want to give Stephen too much credit, but he does a great job on securing funds to help us where it doesn't necessarily come out of our budget. So I want to thank him for doing that.
Taylor Herman does a great job. I'm very proud of the way he negotiates with them, and he's managed to get quite a bit accomplished over the last few years. Any comments that you have on there, Taylor Herman, or is that good enough?
No, sir, not at this time. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 26 is to grant approval for advertising expenditures not to exceed total of $3,000 for Fall 2022 Household Hazardous Waste Event. And this is from the Department of Environmental Planning and Stormwater. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire
Yes,
Lawrence.
ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 27 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $2,808.50 to Basham, doing business as JB/S Truck Repair for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 28 is to approve the purchase of a 2023 Dodge Ram 1500 SSV four-wheel drive at a cost of $39,170 and a 2023 Dodge Durango PV, a four-wheel drive at a cost of $40,086 for the Drug Task Force at the Kentucky State Price Contract MA 758 180000176, which is held by Freedom Dodge, and is paid for with funds from forfeited vehicle sales at no cost to Warren County General Fund. And Mr. Loving.
Well, I was up here a couple of weeks ago and we ordered a couple of Ford Explorers and they were too high. These are too high, but so is the state of the automotive industry. Just these on contract are still 4,000 or 5,000 below sticker, and you can't buy a vehicle at sticker price from a dealership anymore. And the reason we're ordering now is we have a narrow window that they will accept government purchases. We're within that window, but probably have 2 weeks left. So we had to go ahead and order now. We just received our 2 F-150s this week that we ordered in December from Paul Miller, and the 2 Dodges we ordered in December have been manufactured, and we hope they're at the dealership within the next 10 days or 2 weeks. So with that said, I don't anticipate us even receiving these 2 vehicles till next summer, but that gets our fleet back where it needs to be. And of course, we have to have a blend of different type vehicles because we really don't want everybody to know what we're driving.
Right.
But I think we'll do, I may have said this before, I think we'll do really well at our auction, which we anticipate late October, early November. And then at some point there'll be a day of reckoning on that, but from what my friends in the car business tell me, it's 2 or 3 years out. So anyway, it disgusts me to, these same vehicles 2 years ago we were buying for 8,000 to 10,000 less than what we are now. But all I can do is complain about that, but I appreciate y'all's consideration. Yes, sir.
Most of the people you deal with are too high, aren't they?
Sir?
Most of the people you deal with are too high, aren't they?
Some of them. The good ones tend not to use it, though. But,
Yes, sir.
but you have a point, Mr. Magistrate.
I make a motion. I make a motion.
Any questions? Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Payne. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Righty. Item number 29 is to approve budget transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve first reading of ordinance 2270 with a budget amendment for Warren County. This is the first reading of a budget. I think we have the second reading of another amendment
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a second budget amendment.
This is the second budget amendment in a very short period of time, but we have to do that to make sure that we're one step ahead of spending money and don't want Greg being hounded by the auditors.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young,
Second.
second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the next item is to grant authority to advertise for the Soki Ice Rink staff.
So moved.
Motion by, who was that? Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
And we've already done 32, 33, and 34. Going to 35 is to grant authority to advertise for bids for the stormwater quality improvements FILOC project at Fillmore Park. Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Payne. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the next item is to approve the claims. Will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General Fund, $1,321,020. Road Fund, $58,058. Jail Fund, $165,273. Stormwater Fund, $33,557. TIF Fund, $5,000. ARPA Grant Fund, $727,736. If you have to answer any questions.
Make a motion, we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes,
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Okay. Sheriff Hightower.
Good, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. County Clerk Lynette Yates.
Good morning, Judge. I thought I'd let everybody know, for anyone that's going to be requesting those absentee ballots, the portal will open tomorrow. It will remain open until October the 25th, but you can go to, anyone that needs to do that can go to govoteky.com, and you'll put in some certain information and that's specific to you, and you can request your ballot, and we will be sending those out. If you have any problems or you don't have the availability for internet or you're having a problem, we will be glad to do that. You can call our office and we will get that information from you and request your ballot for you. You can call our office at 270-843-5306. That's our voter department, and we'll be glad to assist you with that. But everything, like I said, will open up tomorrow, and then of course we'll start with the full election plan as we progress to November the 8th.
Okay, let me make sure that I understood this. Go to govoteky.com.
It is, it's a com.
Okay.
The state will actually probably be switching that in the near future, but for the last 5 years, it's been a .com. That's where you can actually go and do anything with your registration. If you need to register to vote, or if you need to change your registration in any way, you go to that, and now there is a specific prompt that will tell you request a ballot, and you'll click on that. It'll ask you some information, your social, some other things like that, and that are specific to you. You'll complete that information and you'll request the ballot, and then we get notification of that and send your ballot out.
Okay. And I've been asked this a dozen times because it's been, everything's been in transition the last few years. When will people be able to start voting without having to lie that they're going to be out of town on election day?
Well, actually, the age and disability is one of the, and it will also on that portal tell you the criteria of what voting method you can use. Age and disability is always a reason, and that's, you know, your interpretation of age and disability. There is nothing as a set guideline. So anyone can vote at any process. But like I said, early voting is probably the best thing for people in election day. If you vote in our office, you still have to meet those certain criteria. But we have in office early voting 6 days. That will, after the portal opens, or closes, I'm sorry, October the 25th, then starting on the 26th, 27th, and 28th, we will be voting in our office in person. And then on the 31st, 1st, and 2nd in our office. Then that part closes and we open up early voting on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th at all of our early voting locations, those 5 locations. All of this information is also on our website. So also Proud South is putting the information out. I know it's going to be on the county website. So all this information is there. And then of course, you'll have Election Day on November the 8th.
But now, the early voting that starts on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th,
that
will be, anybody can go vote.
Anything, and of course that includes that 5th, which is a Saturday. The polls will be open from 8 to 4:30. So on any of those days, you can go to any of those 5 locations that we have and vote.
And they can do that without having
without
to say
any, right, without saying that you're going to be out of town or
in the hospital or whatever.
Exactly. Those are those days. But we have all the other availability for those people that are going to be out of town and everything that they need for those reasons, for voting reasons.
Okay. We just don't want anybody having to lie if they...
Exactly. You've got 3 days there that you can come in and vote.
Okay. I think I understand it.
You all have many layers of security on these absentee ballots so that someone's, what they want to be their expression is exactly what it'll be. There won't be any kind of way that it could be.
No.
And it wasn't that way in the last election, was
no, it like I said, in Kentucky, we make everything is very specific. The ballots are specific, everything, so it's all very safe. It is very safe.
Lynette, I would like to add one thing. To help speed up the process of voting, people really need to know what precinct you're voting. It helps smooth that.
Well, if you have your driver's license and you scan everything, it's going to pull up that information on those e-poll books because it's all where you can go anywhere in the county to vote right now. And your ballot's going to be there. So, but it is very important that you know that you're getting the right ballot. That's the point you're trying to make. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't totally key into that at the beginning. Yes, it is. You should always be an informed voter. Know who's on your ballot. Know the candidate. Know all that information is there to make sure that you are being given the correct ballot. We do have 120 ballots at each of these locations. In the primary, we had 180 different ballot faces at each of those locations. So it is good to make sure that you are being given the correct ballot.
If a person goes in with their driver's license, say early voting, and they use it, they vote, there's no possibility they could go back and vote again, right?
And all of our, what we call e-poll books talk to each other. It downloads every 30 seconds. And so it will know if you've been at Living Hope and then you try to go to Sugar Maple, it's going to know you've already voted. And it's going to, you can't do that.
That's what I understood.
Unless you get there in 30 seconds.
Yeah, unless you're really quick. Any other questions?
No.
If you have, like I said, you can go to, I know, I do this every court, and we end up talking a lot. But elections are the most important thing that goes on. But you can look at all this information on warren.countyclerk.us.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank-
And I will say, we cannot pull this off if it were not for Chris and his staff. With the vote centers that we do now, they are what make it happen. So, thank you to them.
Thank you. All righty. Jailer Harmon,
Thanks, Judge.
nothing? Good to see you.
Sir, not at this time.
All right. Mr. Comer.
I just want to thank, with Lynette's comment, I just want to thank the park staff. There's over 90 park staff now. They're the ones that are getting it done, and we all work as a team. And my team just informed me, because they're on here, they're listening, they're everywhere, and we work together. We travel in packs. We've served since 2020 26,666 Feed America distribution to residents within Warren County. And then in 2021, we serviced over 856 senior boxes, which are for the senior population throughout Warren County. So it's in excess with that 856 of over 30,000, or excuse me, over 27,000 residents served in the last 2 years. So thank you, team, and thank you to all of our partnered agencies for all the support.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for all y'all do. Okay. Mr. Moore. See, Ms. Warren is
I have a
not.
question for Josh. How did LS Fest work out for us? I know we had, that's probably the biggest event we have in Bowling Green from a traffic standpoint, right?
Yeah.
How did the road held up well and the traffic was?
Defer some to the sheriff, but I don't think we had a lot of traffic issues. I think things went pretty smoothly. I think we're starting to fine tune the traffic plan that they use. I haven't heard the total counts yet. There was some talk that there was more than expected. I mean, generally that could be 30,000 people over a weekend. There was some talk that it was closer to 50. I don't think it was that many. I didn't see near that many people when I was out there. We'll have a debriefing on that at some point soon. But I think it works as well as it can be. I mean, we all know it's a challenging location to get in and out of just because it's one way in, one way out. But I think that with the help of the Sheriff's Department, City Police, I think it's probably as well oiled as we can be. We also juggle, so most of y'all know, we also have to juggle with buses and participants to a golf tournament that goes on at the country club there. So we're, it's a constantly shifting thing, but I think it's going really well.
There weren't any problems on the golf tournament this year either?
I did not hear. I think there was, I heard maybe one issue where someone came out and was coming into ongoing traffic, but it was just because they ignored a signage and people quickly got them moved around. But that's somewhat to be expected.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was any accidents. I don't think there was anything that was lewd and crude that went on. I haven't heard anything, so I think it's going well. It's a great event for the community. It really is. It's a big one, and I think it's just going to continue to grow.
I will say that I was out to the Corvette Museum's event they held this week and got caught by Tad Donnelly, who wanted to give you and this court compliments to do the right thing, and sometimes an inconvenience for him, but he also understands how well and the follow-through of what's happened. He wanted me to send his apologies for ever questioning you in the past, so just want to put that on the record.
All right, well, good. No, Tad was great to work with. Not exactly sold on the plan in the beginning, but he understood it and understood the need and helped to get it settled, the widening of that section of the road so that we could have 2 lanes coming in all the time and going out Garvin Lane. It did inconvenience a few people, but at the same time, it helped all those same people to actually get in and out of their own properties. A lot of our problems and complaints that I had before we implemented this new plan were the people out there who live out there who were complaining they couldn't get in or out of their own driveways. And now they can get in and out, and it works a lot better. It's safer. The sheriff shared with me that they had no problems as far as getting people out. The coordination that the sheriff's office and the road department and the city police and Beach Bend have been much better, but it takes a lot of coordination. There were 2 or 3 group meetings leading up to this, and there'll be another meeting after this. There's a lot of coordination that goes on with it, but also Holly hires their own internal guy that helps to plan everything that goes on within Beach Bend. On that particular event that's huge, they don't take cash. Everything's prepaid, and they can drive right in. They just have to show that they've got their tickets, and they drive right in, and they help them park. It's a well-oiled machine, but it doesn't just happen. It happens because a lot of people are really out there making sure that it's planned and organized. Anyway, thank you all.
Maybe on trolley number 2 or 3, they can get an LS-based engine in one of those things. I can see a lot of good press. Cruising in, making passes, grass come out.
I'm not sure they're that organized, but they're pretty organized. All righty. Mr. Pearson is not here. Mr. Puckett, have anything at all? Okay. All right. Mr. Loving stepped out. Our PVA, Property Valuation Administrator Susan Lewis is here. How are you? Everything going well? Okay. That's me? Okay. All right. Mr. Peterson. Mr. Markram. Squire Payne?
No, I'm done.
Squire Lawrence?
Yeah, Judge, I wanted to announce a event that they're having at the Bob Kirby Library on October the 23rd at 1 p.m. It's a recognition of young women of achievement. It'd be a great thing to go to. I'd like to encourage everyone to come out to it. The Minds organization is the organization that's hosting the event, and Minds was created by Graylee Boema 2 years ago. She was 17 then, now she's 18. She's a very inspiring young lady. It'd be nice if you guys get to meet her if you haven't already.
What is that, October what?
October the 23rd at 1 p.m. And Debbie Harwood is got a big hand in the organization of this, so you know it'll be a good event to go to.
Okay. That's at the Kirby Library.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Squire Gorman.
Judge, just want to announce a great event that we have coming up here Saturday, October 1st at Fillmore Park, Operation Anvil. No, I'm playing. Never mind, that's all I have, Judge.
All right. Well, that being said, Squire Cummings?
Thank you for stealing my thunder. This is the last time I'm going to talk about the event that's coming up next Saturday. It is a great event. This group of gentlemen called Honoring Our Heroes is truly committed. The battles are great, but the real reason we hold this event is the awards ceremony and awards recognition. We do it at about 11 o'clock for all our veterans. So if anybody's listening to this or wants to come out, doesn't matter if you're World War II or the most recent conflict, where you served before or you're active right now, come out and we'll do a nice ceremony that will go through that. And we want to say, I hope it comes out, hope weather's great. If we take a day like today, it will be perfect. And but just want to say that we're looking forward to it. And thanks to all the partners and all the people who've helped us along the way to get to this point. But yeah, you'll see a lot of activity out at the park starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So thank you for coming out. Doug, appreciate you being there, buddy.
Squire Young,
Thank you, Judge.
Squire McWhorter,
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Milliken,
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Burrow,
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hale,
Thank you, Judge.
Judge Smith. Okay. Come right on up here.
I don't know how in the world I can forget this. This is like the most important thing ever. Taxes.
Oh, yeah.
This is what excites everybody up here.
Yeah, it does excite people.
And I can't believe it's that time again, but I just want to remind everybody, October 1st through November 1st will be the 2% discount. So the mail bills will probably be going out shortly. Everybody should be getting them probably around the 1st. And so there'll be multiple ways on this new bill that you're going to get. Just neglect the fact my name's on it somewhere, but don't hold that against me. But there will be a QR code on there. So if you want to pay online, you can just scan over that QR. It takes you right to the online function. And if you want to put in your checking account information, it's $1.50 cost to that. So you don't have to drive down here. You don't have to find parking. You don't have to come in. You can just do that, and then it'll show after you refresh. Give it a few hours, it'll refresh. It'll have a big paid stamp over that, so you'll know it's paid on there. You don't have to worry about that. That makes it really easy. So you can always mail it in. You can drop it off in our Dropbox, and so multiple ways to do it. But if you just scan over that QR code, go to our website, click on it, you can pay that way.
And that's 2% discount,
Yes, sir.
October 1st through...
October 1st through November 1st.
Through November
So that
1st.
will be it. And then for the regular face value is November 2nd through December 31st for face value. November 2nd through December 31st. 5% penalty begins January 1st through January 31st. So for that 1 month, January 1 through 31 is 5% penalty. And then 21% penalty begins February 1st through April 15th. So the idea is take advantage of that 2%, get your taxes paid, and get that done. So had that, and we had Tyler Bird, he graduated from the academy yesterday. So very happy to say that the sheriff's office, as of today, we're fully staffed for our deputies. Now Philip retires in 1 week and we'll be back down. But so Philip Gaines will be retiring next week. So,
Okay.
but otherwise we are there. So, but thank you all. Appreciate it.
All righty, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. The household hazardous waste is October 29th. From 8 to 1 at Lauren Avery Drive. You all know where that is, at Louisville Road. Something coming up between now and the next. Oh yeah, there is a meeting on the 30th at 9 a.m. And what is it? It's the to approve the plan for solid waste plan, for a five-year approval of the solid waste plan. You should have all gotten that from Stan Reagan. If you haven't gotten it from Stan Reagan, then you should. Will you make sure that happens, Josh? Okay, and that's at 9 o'clock on the 30th. Our next fiscal court meeting is here, 9 a.m., October 10th. That's a Monday. Monday, October 10th, 9 a.m. Any other business to be brought before this body?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne.